Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft again. Thanks for joining me. Thought today what we'd do would be to play with circle punch. Most of us in our stash have a circle punch of any size. Doesn't matter what size you've got. Most of us have got them for our journals when we're doing our little thumb holds, so that when we punch out a piece of paper, we've got our thumb hold to pull him out. That makes sense, doesn't it? But there's so many other things you can do with your circle punches. Look at these. Look at these beautiful little flower embellishments for your journals, the front covers. If they're flat, they'll go in your journals beautifully. My favourite. When I was playing with these the other day, and I was playing around with paper with them, I went and got my circle punch and started playing with what I could do, came up with some ideas, and then went further like you do. Went and got some felt from my stash and did exactly the same thing that I'm going to show you today, but with felt. And look at that. Could you imagine that on the front cover of your journal? Is that just beautiful? I love it anyway. So I then went and got just some muslin and did the same thing, like it, but nowhere near as much as that. That's almost like a poppy. So you can imagine what sort of things you can do. Different size punches. I've got different sizes, but you really a circle punch, and you can do these without hesitation. As I said, this one, I'll move that one, and I'll move that one and that one. These four have all been done from the exact same circle punch. So see the difference in the effect you can get. This one's been done with a slightly smaller punch. This one's been done with a scallop punch, which is that one. So you can see he's just a scallop on. So again, you'll get lots of different ones. You can do them with your dies, with your die cutting machines, run them through your big shots, cuddlebugs, etc. This little die, which is a little doily die, has ended up like so. Again, look, they were just scraps of paper that I was picking up off my table and all the rest. So they're not in any particular colour to go with the journal or anything else. Once I started with them, I just couldn't stop. I just kept sitting down and making more and more and more. If you've got a cricket, I'm sure there are circles or there are circle designs in there that you can cut out as well. Even just little doilies that you buy, your packets of paper doilies, the smaller ones, they'll do the same thing. All you need are 6. Magic number 6. So what we're going to do is very quickly, I'll do up a couple of them, different sizes. So one in this standard size and one in the slightly smaller size. So I'll just sit them to the side a little bit. Only need a little small amount of space, which is really unusual for me. They don't take much. They don't take a long time. And that's good because my desk at the moment is horrendous. I've got 3 different projects on my desk, all in part way through, and I can't find anything. But I only need a little bit of space. So I have pre-punched them just to save the noise. So I've just grabbed, as I said, I keep going through all these old paper pads that I've got because I'm trying desperately to use them up. So 6 circles out of this sheet. And here they are, already punched, just to prove that I did punch them out. The only other thing you'll need is a backing. Again, it's a circle, but it needs to be just slightly smaller than your original circle. So I've just got some white cardstock. You don't see it, so it was just some scrap that I had sitting around. And I've punched one out slightly smaller. If you don't have another circle punch, don't worry. If you only have one, you can still do it because all you'll do is punch out the same size again and then just cut it down. So you'll see, they don't have to be a perfect circle. It is definitely not cut. I've got more here. See, they're just a rough circle, just to make them slightly smaller, with the same size circle punch. Right, so very quickly, with our base one, you just need to find the centre point. Have I gone too far over? No. And I find the easiest way to do that is to use my grid. I'll always use my grid. So if I sit this in here, I've gone 1/4 of an inch over from my solid lines here, which means that I should be about 1/4 of an inch in from there. Does that make sense? So where those two lines meet is my centre point. I could get a ruler and mark it, but we'll just go by eye. Make a centre point, vaguely. Doesn't have to be rocket science. Sit him to the side. With our other ones, our 6, they're a very simple fold. So folding them in half, give them a push. If you want to, you can use your bone scorer and burnish them down. From that, and again, if you use your grid, once you've done 1 or 2, you won't need your grid anymore for this. But to start with, use your grid. So sit him in. This is a 2-inch circle that I'm using with this one. Makes it so much easier. So I'll sit him in my grid, and I want to go 2/3 over, which is about this line. So I'm hoping my hand won't cover all this. We're going over, taking our right over towards the left to about there, which gives us 2/3 over. So we've now got a 1/3 here and a 1/3 here. Turning him over and just bring this edge back over to that. That's what you've ended up with. Okay, so it's like a little accordion. Again, if you want to burnish them down, some of them I really pressed down on, some of them I left them alone. The fabric ones, of course, you're not going to be able to use your bone scorer with and burnish them down, but then you get this beautiful puffy look to them. So you'll just go through and do that with the full 6. So again, if you want to use your grid, taking the right side over 2/3 of the way along, and then turn him over and taking the right side again back over to that fold line. So once again, you've got your little accordion fold. Does that make sense? I hope I've explained that properly. Look, I sat here and I folded and I refolded and then worked myself out and then went to do my next one and went, I can't remember what I did. But once you get it, you'll do it in your sleep. And it's just so quick and easy. They're a great way, again, to use up your scraps when you've got little pieces floating around. Great way, because then you can match them up to your journals or whatever else you're doing. And as I said, the fabric ones, just, that felt one, I just fell in love with. You can see I'm not using my grid anymore. But yes, by all means, use your grid when you first start. That one's a bit wonky, but that's fine. So our last one, and over, 2/3, and back. See, and this one's going to be a nice, quick video this week. Sorry about last week's, it was quite long. So I thought I'd better do a short one this week. Right, so I've got my 6. If you've been following me for a while, you will know I have to use my ink on everything. I can't help myself. All I'm doing with these ones is just giving it an edge and then going down my 2 folded sides. I am just using walnut stain in my distress inks. I might just bring him over so I'm not reaching across. Piece of non-slip matting. I sit above my board and it hooks onto my board and then they don't go anywhere. So it stays on my desk with that. And then I don't have to worry about it sliding all over the place. So I'm just going to open him out a little bit just so that I can really get into those ones. In there. because I can't not. Keep trying not to ink, but I'll get to the end of my project and go, no, I just need the ink. So that is personal choice. It's up to you if you want to ink. I actually even inked my little muslin one. So I know, maybe I'm just sad. The ink's there. I will use it. But look, no stamping this time. That's got to be a new one for me. Right, so I think he's done. Oh, this one. All it is after that is your wet glue. So quickly go into that one. Hope we're all having a good weekend, if it's the weekend that you're watching. If not, hope you're all having a good day. How's that? Right, so we've got our little pieces done. Move that, and I'll move that. I've just got an old book here that's already lost its cover, as it does, and it's just ones that I pull out of, but I use it as a gluing station as well. So back to our original one. We've already got our dot for our centre point. Hoping my glue will come out. My glue that I use is an Express-It one, but when I'm doing my journals and I want a really fine line, I've popped it into just a little bottle with a fine tip in it. But when I want something with a lot of glue, I just go back to my normal bottle. So I'm just going to cover this completely. That could do with having more come out, but we'll persevere. I'm just going to cover this one completely with my glue. Wipe my top, put my lid back on before I forget, and then just with my finger, just make sure it goes all the way to the edge. You could use a brush if you don't like the glue on your finger. It's just, I like being messy. Right, wipe that so I don't get it everywhere. Then going back to your little pieces, I have my single fold on my left hand side, going down so that you match in with your circle. Are we in? And one. Going again. Now I tend to go back here so that I know I've got my straight edge. So technically I should have half a circle there now, just like that. Swing it around. One more. Two more. And he should then just slot in. Yes, he does. Give him a push. Your glue should hold beautifully. Look, you could try a hot glue gun, but I find that it's going to go off too quickly. So just use your wet glue, in essence. How easy was that? Now to finish him off, we'll put a button in there, like I've done with some of these ones, and they're just altered buttons. I've got a little jar, nearly in requirement of getting more done. And these were just normal buttons of the colours that I would probably never use, that have just been gessoed over and then painted or inked, stamped, of course. So that one's just the white gesso and then with a stamp, script stamp with a permanent ink. So let's have a look. Yes, I definitely need some more, I think. Running very short. I do like my metally type ones, and they're a better size. We'll go that one. So once again, just with your glue, put a dollop of glue in the centre. Pop your button on and give him a push. Now the button ones will hold it down flatter, like so. Unless you want to stitch your button in, that would work, and it'd allow it to sit back up. I think I'm too lazy for that. This paper, he's not going to hold that quick. They never do when you're videoing. Have you noticed that? If you're ever demonstrating something, it's always going to take longer than when you're just sitting at your desk. It's just one of those things. He's not going to hold. We'll just sit him aside and come back to him later on. I might need a stronger glue. It's because I've used a thicker paper for this one. What I'm going to do with the next one, I need a smaller one as well. Sit. Oh no, my button's stuck. There we go. Look at that. All right, very quickly, we'll go to the favourite, book page. I love using my book page, and let's face it, we've all got so much of it. This one has just been tea-dyed, so again, it's the same sort of thing. So folding. This one's a slightly smaller one. I think this one was about 1.5 inches. And when I went to cut this out, I just broke my punch, my 1.5 inch punch, which I had used for this one and the backs of some of the other ones, and I'd been using it fine all week. I just went to chop through this book page and killed my punch, and it still won't open. So I did have to run over and use my Big Shot and use my circle dies. So, but it comes out the same. So it's around about 1.5 inches. Now, I've just done that while I've been talking. If you want, where are my others? Right. See this one? I folded some the wrong way. So when I did my other little one, I made sure all my wording was going around the right way. When you're folding them, what you need to do, so see how I've got those two, but that one's around the wrong way. I'm going to refold him. What you need to do is have it so that your wording is not going straight up and down to start with. That way, that should now or not. Let's go the other way. Go that way. That's got it, I think. No, yes, there is. So that all your wording goes out. That's just a little bit of OCD, I think, but you know what I mean. So you can refold them if you find that you've got them wrong. All right, so my wording is on a slight angle when I've originally folded it. Go back to my 2/3 and keep my eyes closed and my fingers crossed. Yes, there we go. Back to this one. I want the full lot of writing. Yes, I want the full lot of writing. So in an angle and over, about 2/3, turning him over again and back and up the right way. It's just a matter sometimes of stopping to stop talking and concentrate. That's not me. Anybody who knows me knows that's not me. I just talk. All right, there's our last one. And yes, I have all of my wording up the right way. Grab him. Now, you could cut these out of your little fancy scissors, the little deckle-edged scissors, the little pinking shears, you know, these sorts of things to give them a different look. Again, there are so many different ways that you could do these little flowers, and really, in essence, out of a circle punch. So you could cut your circle out of a circle punch and then use that as a template. I've got to admit, I did that with one of my others, and where I'd cut him out of, I used that as my template. Stuck him down, set him down on my cardstock, drew around it, and then you could use your deckle edge scissors to cut it out. If you're using your fancy scissors, again, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle because it hides so many whoops and ups and downs because they've got that sort of thing in them anyway. So you can get away, because a lot of us shy away from actually cutting circles. We all tend to have that fear of, oh, it's not going to be a perfect circle. 1, 2, missed that one. We all have that fear that it's not going to be a perfect circle. So if you plan not to have a perfect circle and use fancy scissors, pinking shears, that sort of thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, still missed one, then you're not going to be concerned as concerned with the result of your circle, because it was meant to be a bit wonky. Sit you back over there. Sit the lid on that, down there. Here's my slightly smaller one that I've pre-cut as well. Again, I'll sit him in my grid. This one's going to go about there, so you can see that I'm the same amount in. This is a 2-inch square. So I'm about, 3/8 of an inch in. So I want to be about the same on this one, which is round about the same. Eyeballing where your centre point is. Covering him with glue. I haven't put the lid on. Covering him with glue again. I might just get a pin now because I didn't put the lid back on. And I'll stir him. Wipe my pin. Put him back. I've got a little makeup sponge here with pins and needles and stuff in it for just such an occasion. Right, now he's coming out. Using your finger again, just to smear him so that he's all the way along. Sit him down. Wipe my finger before I get that glue everywhere. And exactly the same as we did last time. So going to my centre point and up, keeping my single fold on one side, going down here. And as I said, I like to go back to my other side so that I get a full half circle. Does that make sense? Right. Always check at this point that you haven't actually glued it to the table. I had quite a few of them that I've actually had to get my craft knife and pry them off the table. So you live and learn. All right, one. And then with everything crossed, this one should just fit in there, like so. Okay. Oh, let's come back into shot. Sorry, girls. Okay, this one we'll put a little brad in. So I've got just a little prick mat. See, he's all dry. They're not going anywhere. Just a paper piercer straight through the centre of where they all join. Again, give him a little stir. It just means that the hole's a little bit wider for you to pop your brad in. Let's have a look. Ooh. He might look all right. Yeah, don't have any brownish ones. Smaller ones of those. No, we'll just go that one. Right. So you can see where I've got my hole through there. Straight in. So that he comes out the other side. Do that up before I knock that. Fold down brads. I call them brads. Brads, split pins, whatever you want to call them. And then just give him a little bit of a push. If you want to, you can then, that glue's already held. So you can just give him a little bit of a lift. How's that? How quick and easy are they? Look at that. Move that over. What a great way to spend an afternoon. Get rid of some of your extra stash that you've got sitting around, and we all know we've got bits of paper and bits of everything else. They don't have to all be done out of the same paper. You could have a couple of different ones in there and stagger them around. It's just endless and so quick and easy. Just for your journals, for cards, for those of you that scrapbook as well. Put them on your layouts. How awesome are they? I hope you all enjoy them. I hope you've all enjoyed today's video. I did promise it would be quick. Are you proud of me? I hope so. If you did like it, please don't forget to hit subscribe and like. And I'd love to hear and see photos if you've done any yourself. Thanks all. Till next time. Bye.